Hey everybody, welcome to What's New TV's audio podcast part 2. I'm your host Teddy Calderon. So we will continue on with our previous topic, and we will also speak about grant funding, how to access it, what are some of the ways to access grant funding for your project. And bear in mind, this is for people in the creative industries of Barbados. So just to recap about time and time management, and how some people were sharing their views about time and how things can affect them in ways that are beyond their control. Yes, again, you will have some positive and some negatives, but time management is the most important thing, and being serious about what you do, because at the end of the day, if you have a job to go to and it's raining, you still gotta get to that job. Well, most people, right now it's cold here, it's snowing here, and I'm doing this podcast, and I'm from Barbados in the tropics. But it just tells you the perseverance. And I took my first trade mission to London in 2016 to get knowledge and information. I call it market access and information, to understand how I can develop the creative industries, or develop my career in the creative industries a bit more. And you need to meet with people who are doing it. So I had to dedicate a lot of time and make a lot of sacrifices. At the end of the day, you got to be sure what is it going to be for you in the long run. Are you planning to stick with that 9-to-5 job, or are you planning to spread your wings and take a plunge into the unknown? So with that said, I do believe that time management is important, but you got to understand how serious you are about what you want to do, and do it, straight up. Like someone said, we spend a lot of time building other people's businesses, but when it comes to our own, we want to sit back and, expect someone to do it for us. And that's never going to happen, so yeah. So I'll take more comments after this podcast, because I know people have things to share. So for now, let's get into the whole concept of grant funding. Now, so if you've never been for a grant before, there are a few things to take into account. Now, the purpose of grants are to help assist in creating a project or idea. So they want a few things from you. And when I say a few, I mean like a lot of things, but it's necessary to help them understand and to help you understand what is needed. So things like a brief outline of what the project is about, who are you targeting, who will it help, how can it help, what's the cost of it, who is involved, how long is the project for, and how much does it cost. Understanding those things are very important. Why? Because if you're managing any business, you need to understand how much money you're spending and how much money you're making, right? That's not to say that just because the grant is free, just go and get it. You know what I mean? Some people would say, and did say, that it's a bit difficult to access a grant because they're not skilled in doing some of these procedures. And I will say, no man is an island, which means you need to bring, strategic people on, people who can do great proposals, people who can tally up and get the costing of what is necessary for your project. And looking at ways to try to minimize, not maximize costs, but still also look at your revenue streams, projections. That's important. All this is important for a grant. So it's not as simple as, oh, I got an idea for a film, I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going to do everything myself. So now you've become not only the film producer, the actor, the director of photography, the gaffer, you know what I mean? The whole entire crew. Now you are doing the business side where you're writing the grants, you're doing all the math and everything. Well, I mean, if you can do that, great, but you need that team, because different grants call for different things. And it's important to understand the fundamentals, and those are the fundamentals that just called there, understanding the project. And to be fair, I've heard some people say they can't find anyone to help. I would say it can be a challenge, but there are people out there who would be interested. But you need to have some kind of commitment in, because, you know, people got their lives to live. Time is of the essence, as we know. So, you know, it's just finding those people, making yourself available, and kind of being nice and not negative, or, you know, like, yeah, do this for me, you know, because you have nothing to offer, really, to be honest. They have more to offer you than you have to offer them in the current moment. That's not to say that in the end it will be different. So it's important to have that team is strong. So some of the grant funding agencies in Barbados, you can check, like IDB, and they have the SIF fund, and currently I just saw a news report where they're saying a lot of people are not tapping into this. Now, it is a cluster fund. There is a cluster fund. I can't remember the cost, how much money it gives you, but that cluster fund entails that you work in a group. Now, if you want to go in for, let me say, $150,000, you would need to have a team of people, like, let me say, a minimum of 4 people, and it has to be registered as a corporation. And the reason for that is they're saying one person running a company, if they fell sick, then the company dies, you know what I mean? So it needs to have that consistency in carrying on with its day-to-day business, whatever that may be. There is the NCF. Now, CEDA was in charge of this grant, but I think that has been consolidated into the NCF, and they offer a maximum grant of $30,000. I think it can be overstretched, but again, you need to have all of those fundamentals and answer all of those questions before you can move forward. And it is looked at by a board and approved by a board. There's Legacy Foundation. This is the Barbados Credit Unions. Now, they are partnered with the credit unions, and they're very interested in community outreach projects. When he spoke to the guy in charge of these things, he was very delighted to say, yes, we are interested, and the most money they have given out so far was $150,000, and that was for a community-based project. So there are other grant funding agencies out there, not locally. We got the United Nations, we got National Geographics, we got Mountain Films Commitment Grant, and that gives you a minimum of $5,000. We got Hot Docs Ted Rogers Fund for Canadian filmmakers. We got Film London Production Finance Market. We got Blues Cat Screenplay Competition. And I mean, there's so much I can keep going on. If you guys want this list, just leave a comment below, and I will surely email it to you as soon as possible. No worries about that, guys. Yeah, so you know, I'm doing this out of my own time, and I'm showing that, you know, there are some people out there, creators out there, who are willing to help other creatives. A comment I got yesterday was, I can't find anyone to, you know, like-minded to work with, and I said, well, you know, that's a lot of people's problems. So you kind of got to sift through. You got to look at what other people are doing, and there's a saying, you know, don't say it, show it. And lots of people's work is online now. You can go see it. Some is great, some is not. It depends on what you are looking for. But the whole concept is to partner with each other, and to access any grant, you need to have a team. It does not work solo. The team has to have strengths in different areas, so you can go forward and be successful. And also make sure that, you know, your project, whatever your project is the best, because we want winners. We want to see people moving to the top of your list, especially now with the British pulling back all of their content off of Netflix. There's going to be a big void now. Who is going to fill that void, you know? So, you know, that's an opportunity, right? Because streaming is making so much money, billions of dollars, and they have the research to show it is making billions of dollars. Gone are the days of sitting in front of TV on a scheduled time to watch a program. People want to watch it now, and they want to pause it and come back to it later. You know, podcasts like these, there's no video because people may want to, you know, do what they're doing at work or whatever, stick in their headphones, but be able to capture this information because it is important for them. So you know, I like you, Love. Even though some people may not comment, try to comment below now, and I'll send you the information. And you know, stay tuned for more. Let's keep this going. Let's make Barbados 100% proud again of what we're trying to do. There's lots of money to access, but you need to be strategic with it. You need to build that partnership, whether it be internally and then externally, and move forward. Let's get it going. We are all creatives, and I do know a lot of you guys have some excellent work out there, but it's not being showcased, and I would love to showcase it. So you know, just keep it coming and understand that we are all in this together. I created the Intertune project to promote, network, and collaborate because we all have one goal. We all want to be heard, and this stands for every creative person in the world. So show it some love. Go check it out, follow the page, and look for more updates. I do this out of my passion, you know, out of the love for the creative arts. So yeah, so until then, stay tuned for more. Ask your questions in the comments below and I will answer them, and I will do in-depth round if you want on grant proposals and how to really get into understanding it. So thank you for listening, and stay tuned for our next What's New TV audio podcast next week. I'm your host, Teddy Calderon. Until then, have a good one, guys. Bye.
The chase is on. There's a fire in you. Yeah, it's true. Don't give in. There's a fighter in you.